Okay, so this is going to be a quick video going over the attacking methods for the main two sites on Bank. This is a battle planner just in case you ever want to use a like sort of top-down view of the site. You can see like how everything looks from a top-down view. You can use lines of sight in order to say that like types of angles that you can hold, things like that. And so every single map has like sort of a theme to it of like what makes it different compared to other types or the other maps that are in the game. The main thing with Bank is that there are lots of long angles that can be held from outside. You can hang out here and you can hang out here and get some big long angles going straight through. That's a door right there, so that even goes further. But you have these big sight lines that can be going on through the back. You can have big sight lines coming in from just about every single angle. So that's like the major thing that you need to take away of what the attackers are supposed to be doing. It's going to be lots of long angles, and it's typically going to be people sort of peeling off at different sections in order to hold whatever position that they need to hold. So say that like you have someone holding right here, that prevents people from coming forward, where you can then move forward to the next step of coming over here knowing that no one's going to come from this angle because it's being held. And so that's what these people are doing. And so the way that you sort of counter that as a defender is you can either try to contest them at long range, which I don't recommend because defenders are naturally designed to be more close range, or you could hold close range at the major point of where things need to be. Like I'll go into more example into the in the video, but you want to be holding like like the last point of where it is, and you want to just stay like in that position until someone is forced to come forward, and then you can just take them out with your superior close range. What else is there? So the one thing that I forgot to mention is that I was, as you can probably tell in the video, I was very tired when I was doing my recordings. There's a lot of information in there that I sort of go over again, and there's some like key important stuff that I sort of missed, and I'll throw some like additional clips that I'm making right now into it in order to quickly go over the main stuff that I think matters most importantly. And who knows, like if this actually, like when I get better at doing all of this, I'll probably redo this video someday. But yeah, enjoy the video. Okay, so this is going to be a quick run through of the general ways you're going to attack Bank from each one of the attacking spawns. I'm going to try to be as in-depth as possible as understanding things, and we're going to first start out with basement. And so I'm just going to go from top to bottom. So we'll start out with parking front. Parking front, you typically want to be running someone with long range and ACOG, because you're going to be taking fights inside of the garage. And it's important that you need to take out that guy, and you're basically just going to be holding from there. You shouldn't be the one with your bomb. Yeah. So start off, there is a camera right there. Just make sure that you take that out. Next up, I would start to drone as you're going through here, because there's typically someone that is hiding behind this van right here that is going to try to shoot you and kill you. If they're not there, they're going to be over here somewhere. And so now that you're in here, you should hopefully win this gunfight, and the advantage of being in here is that there's no real way of getting flanked. Like, the chance of someone like coming back here and trying to kill you, you're definitely going to be getting your you're definitely going to get the notification that someone's outside before that. So typically this wall is open and this wall has a hole in it as well. And so this is when you want to have your ACOG, because you can I guess you cannot. You can hide back here and you can hold all the way into the site. You can also cut off this entire side of the map just if you're holding it properly. If you can take control right here, you can keep an eye on both of them. If you want to be throwing, you can try to fight the person inside of red. I would recommend just throwing a claymore here, just for additional pressure if you can somehow make it up that far safely, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's another camera in here. And this person shouldn't have to move forward. You're basically just cutting off this angle as the rest of your team does the traditional push. And so, but if that situation arises, obviously make sure that you're checking this area. Be careful of this one specifically, because if someone is hiding out in here, just holding here and possibly holding main stairs like this, they can make their way around like this. And also this door comes straight from red, I think. Yeah. So if a pulse is hiding here inside of gold, or if there's like say a Mira in here that's aware that you now control this, they can in theory run around all the way around here, and now they have a quote-unquote crossfire onto you, because they can keep a hold of you like this, and they know where you are, so they can just start shooting you. But you know, that's the whole point of Siege, just counterplay on counterplay. But like I said, that angle is able to come all the way back here, and this right here is default plant. It's either right here or right here. If you can get to right, you plant here if you actually have someone there. If not, I would put it right here. And that's pretty much that push. So let's go to the next one. Next up, jewelry front. So jewelry front, I would say has so there's like two ways you can go about this, and I'll try to go through both. So the two typical ways you're going to go through it, like just in these 10 seconds here, is going through main, which is through the front doors right there, or going through sewers, or dirt, as it is affectionately called. So I'll do the dirt push first, because that one's kind of good. So you jump down here into dirt. By the way, this is all technically considered outside. So when you get into here, that's no longer considered outside. So like someone can't be hanging out in here, so you're going to be safe all the way up until you turn this corner, because then someone can peek you from there. So you're in here, and Jaegers typically like to sit right here, and they like to hold little pixels, and so as you're like trying to run across and trying to look, you're just going to get shot in the stomach. So make sure you drone that out. One like nice little drone is up here. So you can keep an eye on this, you can keep an eye on if there's a flank coming in, and it's right next to this like computer and stuff, so sometimes if people don't like destroying things, it sometimes blends in. Like, it's not super great, except like, you know, you can also go up there if you want. But yeah, so this is where I would typically have your thermite come in. This is because this is the traditional place that you want to be going. And so things to look out for are obviously blue stairs, right here, or server stairs. Do people actually call this server stairs? Blue stairs. So blue stairs, this is server, by the way. And quick call-outs, I guess. So this is CCTV, as you can see in the bottom, CCTV. This is, they call this hallway, this is connector for anyone that's like legitimate. This is garage, and obviously any calls you make, garage behind the truck, garage around the corner, bottom of main staircase, vault elevator, more vault. If someone's playing in here, they're throwing, by the way. Like, someone, like, this is probably the, like, most, like, quote-unquote vault that someone's going to be defending, and this is not a good place to stand, because you're just so far out of the fight. Yeah, so, like, this entire section is vault. Right here is gold. Typically when people say gold, they're referring to this area, because, again, no one sits in here, because you can't see anything. Red, typically someone plays in here and they watch this hatch, which I'll get into on the alley access. By the way, this is also, I'll go over this like when we're defending at some point, except like this is also typically open. So almost no one ever does a lockers plant, just because this is such an awkward place to attack. Like, in order to get here, you would have to, like, you know, go through main, like, jump this, I guess, and then, like, you'd have to, like, hold this angle while at the same time holding back there. It's just not as good, so you almost always want to plant into A. On the note of attacking B site, it is not good, and I still don't recommend it, except if you are going to do it. Let's say that your thermite dies, because they're probably the most important part of this push, or your ace, or whoever that you know, your hard breacher that's going to be able to make a walk hole for you. If they die and you can't get into A site anymore, something that you can do that is high risk, barely reward, and it is hot breaching this hatch. So this is typically going to be reinforced. So when you put a Habana pellet on this thing, you have to go fast. Like, as soon as this thing blows up, you need to jump down, get this wall open, run into here, shoot anyone that's inside, and then plant right here. And you just need to do it as quickly as you can, because this obviously makes a lot of noise, and if, say, the person in red hears that, like, that is going down, they can just run around here, and they can hold right here. Sorry about that. But yeah, so they can come in through red, and then they can just hold this. They can hide back here, shoot out these money, and they can just hide right here and wait for you to fall, since when you're falling, you can't control the way that you move, so you're an easy shot on them. So you need to make sure you do this quickly. But, back to before. So, like, come down here, kill the guy in servers, keep an eye here, have someone holding, I would say holding here, holding blue stairs. Sometimes, depending on the team, this is open, and if it is, then cool. If it's not, it's going to be reinforced. I would recommend popping this wall as thermite more than the other one, just so that if you can get like if you can bring your thermite up here and get a claymore right there, you can make sure that anyone that's up here is killed, and then you can pop that open and you can look all the way down into the very back of the site. And so you can keep an eye there. You also have an eye at this door, and that's a, you know, easy kill. But if they can't, if you can make your way here to server and you can pop this door open too, you can plant right here, but just be careful because this rotation hole is almost always here for people that know what they're doing. So those are typically, like I said, that's typically where your thermite, your ace is going to be. That's how they're going to be dealing with stuff. You want to have at least 2 people going, preferably like ace and like Thatcher, depending on if he's going to be completely worthless next patch, and maybe a nomad, just in order to like keep an eye all the way back here. Just pop a nomad up there, just in order to make sure you know where you're going. But then, yeah, so just plant right here. If you have someone guarding this area, or if you know that red is clear, say if you had someone that was holding back here and holding this area, and so that way you can tell and make sure that they're fine. But yeah, so now let's go over the last one. Oh, wait. Other important thing. So the other way. Almost forgot. So let's go all the way back, just so that I truly like pretend that I spawn. I only have 4 minutes for this, so it's just gonna be fast. So you spawn here. Make sure you don't get spawn peeked, and also make sure you don't get run out on. Break all cameras. Like, even if you're not going into places, like there's a camera. I don't know this angle, except there's a camera that you can get to from that window, but I don't know how to get to it. Your other option is coming through here. This is not fantastic, just because, you know, it's open area, except also since it's open area, people don't typically like hold it just because it's such a big space. And so then you can come in here. Okay, so front door, open area, tellers. Over here is still open area. We move into archives. Archives has really good / bad sight lines because there's lots of places you can get shot from, and then you end up here in square. Square has 1 camera up in this top corner, and it has this hatch. This hatch is probably the most important hatch in the game, this is like probably the most important hatch for like that take, because you can, you know, control server. You can hold right here. If the plant is like, you know, in that corner right there, you can just hold right here and just watch if anyone comes by. And so then with that guy and this guy, you have a really good crossfire on them, and people don't check vertical, so that's fine. And the chance of someone flanking you, like, they'd have to like go up like all the way, I'm not even sure where it is, but yeah, they'd have to like go all the way up and have to figure that whole situation out. But this is probably where you put your Habana in the next spot. Alright, so third up is alley access, final spot. I would recommend having a friend come with you for this one, but this is the Habana location. Like, this is where you play Habana. This is probably her like most useful role in the entire game, like for any site, honestly. There's 1 camera right there, you can shoot it before there's even a chance of getting run out on. There's 2 run out spots right here and right here. Some weirdos like to sit in here. This is where square is, so like some people, like, you know, they reinforce square and then they sit right here and they like either like pop a hole in it and then they just watch here and try to shoot you as you come by, or they just, you know, listen out, throw a Valkyrie cam, whatever. So this window, I would personally not be meleeing it, by the way. I would like either come back here and shoot it down, or I would run around this way and shoot it down like this, just because you are so far out in the open when you're, you know, opening that one up, because if someone's actually playing in here, they can just hear you, like, you know, meleeing, and then they just shoot right here, and that's like an easy kill, obviously. Like, no matter how like good you are at this, like, you're eventually gonna have to move forward, and it's just not worth the risk. But also, if someone's playing over here and they hear you meleeing, they can just come out. They get spotted right around here, but you're busy with this, so your reaction time would not be fast enough for them to just shoot you in the head. So Hibana comes in here, by the way, so break this open and then immediately start droning. Like, you need to make sure that this area is empty, because there is too many, like, all this stuff, like, it's breakable, sure, but there's way too many places to hide. You can hide back here, hide over here. I can't vault. You can hide in here, and you can just watch that. Also, there's a camera right here. So this is open. Oh wait, this is open area? Gross. Okay, so this is open area. The other place is main hall, or like main. And then this staff room, I've never actually heard of that, or I've never heard it called that. This is kitchen, because look, refrigerator. Okay, so getting back into it. So you're Hibana. You just droned out the place. You recognize there's like no one in here, and there's, say, someone inside of kitchen. So you just make sure that you slowly go through this. Hopefully you have a friend that's in here. This is a breakable wall, and people never reinforce this. So if you have someone that's really like droning you out, they can like ping the person. You can just immediately shoot them down. But so now Hibana, her role is to, one, make sure she doesn't get flanked by someone that's coming up these main stairs. So this is main stairs, by the way. This is the main, like, we're back. So also these give you an indication, except it's not that good. It's not as good as you would think it would be. But Hibana's main job is to open up 3 hatches, and it's typically these 2, because you can run in, just pop, jump over this, pop, activate them, and then watch blue, because smokes like to play on blue. Oops. And pop. And so now you have 3 points of pressure coming vertically. So this hatch looks straight into red, and so typically mirrors like to play right here, like they put a mirror right here, and you could shoot them out if you get like the right angle, I think. If not, you can still shoot at the mirror's feet, and she'd have to. So the way that you counter that is by putting your mirror on this side, where you're going to be safe, but it's still a really good spot for Hibana in order to keep an eye on things. So that's that one. This one over here controls the entire A site, and I think most importantly is that you can watch this door, and so that way you can shoot anyone that's coming in. You can't get their head because it gets blocked by this. Like if they're like, you know, jiggle peeking this door, this is typically in the way, except like, you know, body shots are going to scare that person and they're not going to be happy about it. And then if those 2 spots are covered, I would typically run that second one, by the way. Like that's usually where I go, as that's usually where I'm at when I play Hibana. But this is your server site. Like this is, so that's like that's the server right there. So you can hold this position. It's not the best, but if you're just having trouble like controlling server, like if this person back here is just like, you know, like a wing nut, and they're just like, you know, like just, you know, like just doing like the nastiest angles and pixel peaks and stuff like that, then you can put this one out and you can just elicit pressure onto them, and you can just start to, like, you know, work your way in, throw a nade in, something like that. Like, you now have options of handling this person, because obviously, or I guess I should have mentioned this is completely indestructible, and usually a Jaeger likes to put one of his ADSs back here, so throwing something back here is just going to get eaten by the ADS. So this is where you go if you can't control server. If there's just, you know, someone like an Echo is holding this long angle, you don't have someone that's in the garage, that sort of thing. But most of the time that's not the issue. Usually people, especially in solo queue, are willing to throw their bodies at killing this person. And that person's main job is typically to grab, or to protect their smoke that's playing here with a shotgun. So so smokes typically play here. They listen to, like, you know, like the thing going out, and then they just turn and like end that person. So just be aware of that. Make sure you drone it. But yeah, that's basically the 3 main pushes, or 3.5, I guess. I would definitely, this is definitely a site that is really convenient if you have 3, like if you have someone spawning on all 3 of the different points instead of just having everyone spawn in one place. Oh, one other thing. Make sure that when you're doing, when you're coming in here as Hibana, just as you're droning through, just take a quick peek up and make sure that these 2 hatches, check to see if they are or they aren't broken, because it's not something people do often. Okay. It's not something people do often, like it's not like a typical hold people do, but as a result, it is such a good position to hold. Like, I could like sit up here and like the Hibana pellets are here, just pop, 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 pop. Hibana is running into here, just shoot her in the head. And then this one, you can also just sit here. You could, yeah, you could prone and you can have a really good vertical angle on her. Like, these are really scary if they're open, and if they are, I would definitely recommend taking the extra time after, like, I would put a drone in here to watch that flank, and then I would honestly throw a second drone up and over and, like, just keeping an eye up here. And I would, like, you know, possibly hiding it, like, over here, like, in this corner could be okay. Because you don't need to know exactly where the person is, you just need to have, like, you need to know which hatch they're on. Like, because if they're on this hatch, like, they can't get a full sight line of you. Like, you can't, like, if you, like, hug the wall back there, you're gonna be fine, and then you can start, and then you can handle this person however you see fit. And then this person, you just know that you're not actually going to be getting these hatches. I don't think there's an angle where you can, like, shoot your pellets in. But yeah, just be aware of this person, because that person's going to mess your day up. And yeah, so that's the site. I don't know how I forgot this, except Alley Access Going Basement also has a very good push in it that a lot of players that are better than me actually go through. So what they do is they come in through this door, again, drone out the area, make sure everything's okay, and then they push down blue. If you send your thermite this way, something that you can do as a thermite in order to give your Hibana a little bit more like things or less to do, is to put your thermite like right on this corner right here, so that way you aren't just out in the open. So that way you have someone that's opening that up, and now you control this area. And so if there's someone in server, they aren't really as big of a deal anymore, because now they're the one who's pinched as opposed to you. So when you're in here, you don't, like, obviously you can go back out and you can try a different push, except like, that's going to take way too much time. So in this situation, you're being pinched by the person in server. In this situation, you're pinching that person and making sure that they can't come down server. And so, you know, obviously super useful. And if you have someone in blue stairs, in dirt, and holding this area, you have complete control of this room, like almost an excessive amount, except this person is not going to be able to stop all three of you. And so if you can have someone who is willing to die at these two positions, like in case something goes wrong, the three of you, whenever he peaks wherever, you should be able to take him out, and then you should be able to continue your push. Okay, next up we're going to be going over top floor, the executive lounge, and I'm going to just pick Kali. I would normally go sledge, just so I can break stuff, except, like, this is basically like a Kali Glass location. You only go this way if you have this character, and essentially no other reason. So what you do as Kali is you come up here, drone this out, by the way, like, as you're like here, just like do yeet, and then you can get a cool little up angle view of this. Miss your jump, and then hold right here and just look inside. I know it's hard to see like what stuff is in there, except you'll be able to see people moving. That's not that big of a deal. So these cars are indestructible, but the windows are not. So keep that in mind as you're going here. And so what you basically want to do as your sniper is you're going to be holding these super long angles. Like, this is a position that really handles like communication and stuff. So this goes straight into the like the room that's connected to Banana. Obviously, if you have Kali, you can blow this out and get an even longer view of the entire site. But just be aware that someone could hold this area over here, and I'll show you where all this is in a second. But someone could like be holding that area, so while you're just sort of tunnel visioned in on this, they're just gonna open up this little chunk right here and then just shoot you, like preferably a dock, I would say. Like, a dock is the one that comes to mind, but also let me see. Yeah, but basically that's what you're doing, is you're just cutting the site in half. You're just holding all the way down, and it's this really gross angle. So let's just see where all this is. And, like, if you're Kali, like, make sure, like, scream into your, like mic that you need to not have the diffuser, because there is no chance of you, like, coming in. Like, if the situation ends up where you are the only one alive and you need to go in and, like, you know, make a play, it's not gonna happen. You're not moving fast enough. It's just not reasonable. So this is the spot that I was mentioning. You can just hold back here. You can hold this, and obviously you could hold this entire area, honestly. Or if you wanted to be a freak, this is not great, except, like, you could have an ACOG and just hide behind this solid wall, and you could contest her. But right here, so once again, lobby, coming up here, going into so this is front desk, and outside excuse me, outside is called banana because it is round, or is curved like a banana. As we come into here, we have executive lounge, and more importantly, over here we have conference room. So typically people like to reinforce these two walls, these four, and then a handful over here, and these ones. So these are kind of hit or miss on whether or not they're going to be reinforced. I don't typically see them reinforced, except just if they are, you know, obviously you can't make it all the way into conference room, except, you know, like, boo-hoo, woe is me. Now I can only look straight into this area, and I can cut off anyone that's trying to flank around here. But yeah, that's a super simple spot of where you can hold. So let's just go. Aww. I forgot. Is this enough? Of course it isn't. But yeah, let's just go to the next site, I guess. Okay. Next up is jewelry front, and I call this the typical push. Because there's like 2 or 3 places that you want to be going with this, and it's a handful of people sitting outside and holding these windows, and then you have your main thermite, like your main thermite squad going inside and pushing the walls. So obviously watch for spawn peaks. I look up a video on where that thing is. So I'm dumb. So it's this second to the right, like, so this one's fine. There's a really good angle right here where you can look all the way down. If you don't have someone that's holding, if you don't have your person there, you just have a regular ACOG, you can hold right here and you can cut off anyone that's coming in the same direction that the other person, that the collie would be doing. And so you hold this spot, I would recommend holding it like down here, or, that was weird and buggy. Or you can hold it upside down like this in order to just keep your location undefined. But the other direction is opening up these 2 walls. I should really just be using this sledge. So typically these walls are bandited, so you can pop like some of them. Obviously, like if they have them in the corners and stuff, then like you know, like there and like here, you're not gonna get them, but like you can get this one. That's pretty good, right? Be careful of weirdos in hallway. This used to be a really good spot for castles back when impact grenades were on him, because so this entire area is breakable, and the reinforcements only go up to, say, here. So what they would do is you would pop a hole in the center more, and so you would then listen out because you have this hole open so you can hear it, and you would like hold a impact grenade and you would throw it up there and you would pop and it would explode, and then whatever was on this side would blow up. And that's no longer a thing that Castle can do, but there are still impact grenade there are still characters with impact grenades that can still impact trick like that. Typically you want to be like here, like actually throwing it up and saving stuff like this, except if these windows are open, that's no longer an option. And so they can sit back here and they can chuck a grenade up like that. This wall isn't as important, and I'll go into that in a second. I'm alive. Cool. But yeah, so the other play that you can make as your thermite or something is watch this. This is where the point is. So there's typically a double rotation, like a nice little connection piece here, like 2 little crouch holes. So someone like your Jaeger can sit in here and they can start listening out, and when they hear someone out in square, they can just shoot this person down. But yeah, so they usually like to sit in here and deal with that. Some people like to sit in here, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, so typically you want to run, I guess we'll just do that one first. So you want your thermite wants to get inside of here. He wants to get to these walls. And so in order to get to that, you need to make sure that's safe. And so one good way of doing it is having someone up here, watching it square, watching down here for, like, you know, run-ups and stuff. Because, like, you know, this person, like, if they want to run up these stairs in order to find this person, you can just hold down here and you can just shoot them all the way up. But yeah, so this is, like, I would call this the Thatcher position, just because you can hold this angle. If you would rather have your colleague play here, she could definitely do that, and you can still access the points right there in order to get rid of the bandits or whatever. But so that is what you will typically have your, like, off support doing. Also shoot that camera. Oh god, why is this happening? I don't know how to... Alright. Wait, you see the camera. It's, like, off to the right. I can't move that far. But yeah, so this far right one, make sure you don't die. And you want to open up these walls. So this one is much more important. Because one, there is typically, like, you know, like, this is obviously destructible, except it's still cover. Like, someone doesn't know that you're back there. So you can still hide back here and you can plant, and then you just have to watch out for that angle. As opposed to this one, if you can get both open, please get both open. Like, don't like, you know, bring an ace and just throw both of them onto, like, both sides of this, and then just, like, you know, get the other one bandit tricked or something. Like, I would much rather have, like, a single one here and a single one here, just so that you can hold down this angle, because, you know, any good angle from one side is just as good of an angle from the other. So if you have someone playing inside a front desk and they hear the explosion going on, they can watch this angle from all the way back here, and that's no bueno. Whereas opposed to this one, you have to play inside of this disgusting choke point. Like, if I want to play this, I have to go through here, and I don't really have anywhere to hide. Like, I'm, like, still completely, like, hitable as I'm going through, and, like, there's not a safe way through this. But yeah, so your thermite, you typically want them to open up this wall first. If they get that wall open, then you can open up this one. Make sure that person's not going to do anything crazy to you. And so you can plant here. Another good spot is back here, because this is actually indestructible. I think this chair is too? Yeah. So if you can, like, you know, chill out behind here, you can plant right there. And that's a cool little bit, because then, like, you know, once it's back here, you do have to worry about, like, getting shot through the floor, except, like, no one's gonna do that. Like, if you get C4 through the floor right there, they deserve that one. But yeah, so then once that's planted, I thought that was going to let me repel. You can just, you know, hold this spot right here and just hold that. You can, like, I don't know, if you have, like, a jackal or something, you can pull out your, like, super shorty and you can just listen. And then when they start to go, they just pop that person. Oh, if you also do that, you can also just sit like this, and that's super safe as well. And when I say super safe, I mean not very safe at all. Because you basically need someone holding these positions. Like, I would recommend, like, if you have all 5 people spawn here, that wouldn't be bad. And you basically, what you want to be doing is just having a different person, like, get, like, sort of, like, peel off and just hold an angle. Because at any point in this, something can go terribly wrong. And, so, like, ye olden days, what you could do was, like, you know, pop this, shoot the person down, and this was typically where you would have, like, your castle, your bandit, like, someone that didn't have active utility, and they would just, you know, jump out, they'd get their pick, they'd already, like, you know, have their deal, and they could either sit in here, and they could just, you know, wait for someone to come over, and then just try to make it a 2-for-1, but usually a 1-for-1 is good enough for them. But if they can somehow make it back in here and, like, not die, like, you're probably not going up against very good attackers, but that's, yeah, so just to recap, have someone pop this open. You don't need to play that one specifically, just having someone, like, open up these things in order to scare someone to not sit there is pretty good. Have your Thatcher go up there, have your Thermite come in here, and just hold it and try to make sure that you win. Okay, finally we're going to go over alley access for top floor. This is, you know, this is, I would say, where, like, a Capital would go, but, like, you know, any character is good here. This is where you basically just, you want to get into a fight with someone. You, like, you know that the other team is good, and you trust your shooting skills, and so you are ready to take them out. So, climb up this. Don't die. Keep an eye out for that. I'll show you where that is in a second. So, don't go through this way, but this is, did you guys see that? This is, you know, this is how you can hold this open area. If your Thatcher somehow loses his gunfight up there, you can do a secondary hold, or, like, you know, like a backup person right there. So that's typically not what you want to do. You want to take this area, stock. So keep that door closed just for your own sanity. But break this open, drone it out. If there's someone good, they're gonna hide in here. Like, if someone is fully aware that, like, you know, like, the situation is gonna be the way that it is, then they're gonna hide in here and they're gonna take this gunfight. But, you know, handle that as you would. Throw a drone in. You know, do your normal deal. And then once you have it, you now have a really good position. Because now you can hold this and you block off this rotation, so that's normally not, or this is normally reinforced, my bad. So that's typically reinforced, but you can sort of run all the way over here and just keep an eye on if someone wants to run out of janitor's closet. And you can keep an eye on them there. Also, if this is, like, you know, solo queue where there's not a lot of people talking to each other, you could stop someone from doing a really crazy runaround of, like, going all the way from here around, trying not to die from main stairs, and then doing this, like, super long way. But, you know, I guess, as you can probably tell from my voice, that's not really a good option. But yeah, so this person can now hold this. If they do need to get into the fight, I would recommend checking this, making sure that's not going. droning in this area, making sure that no one's there. Like I said, this is typically these crouch holes are here, and so you can start to make your way into here and sort of handle it from there. This is destructible, so just be aware of that. Right? Yeah. This is destructible, so just be aware that someone can shoot you, but also you can shoot them. And so from here you can just sort of, you know, play by ear. If you can't get that plant back there, and you can't have your secondary planted over there, something's probably gone wrong and you have to sort of deal with your situation. However, you need to play by ear and just sort of figure out what you need to do in order to win this. But yeah, that's the final position for the two main sites in this. Your third attacking site, I'm not going to go into good detail about this, except it's typically right here. It's office tellers, or archive tellers, sorry. And the way that you do it is pretty similar to the previous way, where you sort of just come in through here, check all that off, look into here, make sure you don't get shot, and then come in through here. That's the normal way of doing it. There's some people that like to get killed for free, and they like to come through lobby. But if you can get through lobby, if you can somehow make your way through here and not live in just complete fear of someone that's coming up here, this is a good spot. There's a good door to come in through. Even though that these things go off, this is still a good spot. This is going to be, I'm pretty sure that this is just opened through, these are normally just footholes that are in. It's not like a full see-through like this, but being able to come in, this is indestructible, so your feet are actually found right here. And then if you have an Ash or a Zofia, you can pop these open in order to get some good angles into here. This is fine place to plant. Just, make sure you don't get shot from there. Another good spot is over here, because this is completely indestructible. And if you can get someone to sit right here and hold this door, you basically win. This spot, you can hold it from over here. You can keep it all the way over here. I'm pretty sure this is going to be open, but you can play around like that. But if you're not going to go through the open area and you're going to come in through this way, around, going around like that. So the main issue with going this way is that there is no place to sort of hard breach. This is completely destructible on top, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, it's completely destructible from the top, so if you want, you can grab your buck, your sledge, and you can just start to mess these people's days up by clearing out this entire area. Just run around, just pop everything open, just scare the bejesus out of them. And I would recommend either going into a custom game and learning what spots are, good. This is a good one. But learning what spots are really good for having control over. And also make sure that whenever you're doing this, make a lot of holes, so that way it makes it harder for the defenders to know where you're going to be coming from. Because this hole doesn't really do anything for me. I don't really get any good vision out of it, except having this here now makes this little walkway a lot scarier to go through for the defenders, even if there isn't a good, even if it's not likely for me to be there. It's just another thing for them to have to think about, and then the sensory overload. Oh wait, no, I was talking about that one. This one's fine. But yeah, so that's a fast way of going through this one. I don't really want to talk about third sites. I think the first and the second ones are the important ones. So for plants, this is not the easiest place to shoot through, but it is possible, so just be aware of that. I typically see people like go here and then they just plant, they try to have their back on this thing so that way you can't shoot them all the way through. But then once you have that, you can hold up there, you can come around here and hold inside of blue, and you can hold that, keep someone there. This is a good spot for making sure no one runs out there. You don't want to be on this side because this is just too much of an open, this is too long of an angle for you to try to defend. But yeah, basically behind these, because they are bulletproof. And that's pretty much it.